physically picked me up, shook me like a rag doll, and almost threw me over the counter live on the radio.
All because Patty asked, "What's your weakness?"
What's your weakness?
You should have picked up Patty.
She was on the
Obviously, there was a weakness there.
She was on the other side of the board. She asked the dangerous questions with me right next to this guy.
Yeah, let's see how you do under pressure. Oh, yeah, I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Okay, hey, yeah, ain't no errors, baby. It's a new era. I wake up early, feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra, extra.
What's up, everybody? I'm Joe.
And I'm Abel.
This is Clocked Out with Joe and Abel, where we get to hang out with your local favorites and find out who they are when they're clocked out.
Today we have a special guest in the house. You might have heard him on Power 102 most of the time in the morning. This is Mike Dee from The Morning Show.
What's up? Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here, Mike. This is Mike's actually fourth or fifth time being here with us.
Well, no, I think this is the only one you're going to broadcast. So
correct.
I was here for like all the mic checks and putting everything together and all that.
All our practice runs. Mike's helped us so much that Mike, I can't thank you enough.
No, I appreciate it. No, you guys are fun to hang out with. And I love that Kathy's always going to keep you guys grounded. That the voice you hear in the back is always Kathy, the producer, keeping you
our
guys
producer,
grounded.
Kathy, back there.
And our bartender for the night.
She will be our bartender tonight. We have a full bar, so... Mike, like always, whatever you want.
Speaking of, can you give me a Coors Banquet, I guess? Mike, you want anything?
No, I'm still drinking my Malibu and Coke. Hold the Malibu.
Mike, we'll get we've asked you a lot of different questions throughout these practices, and I feel like I've gotten to know you. What's the craziest thing that's happened live on air?
Oh man, craziest thing that's happened live on air. I've told the story of Tracy having to escort Tracy Morgan out the door. I had to throw the person that does the voice of Dora the Explorer and Boots the Monkey out. And then there was one show. There was a football player that played for UTEP. His name's Ebok.
That's his real name?
That's his real name.
Ebok.
Did he play in the NFL?
I don't think so. I think he just played at college level. Huge guy, gigantic guy. So Patty is asking him questions. We're live on the air, and she tells this guy, like, "So, what's your weakness?" And this guy, I'm going to assume, was on some kind of steroids because he lost it. And he reaches over and he grabs me by the shirt and he lifts me over his head. And he starts screaming like this. He's holding me up like this, and he's shaking me like a rag doll. And he's saying, I have no weakness. And all I could think of was like, he's going to like throw me over the counter at Patty, and he's shaking me. And the thing is that what people don't know is like over the counter where I'm at, there's two speakers, and he's like inches away. I could feel the bottom of that speaker almost hitting me in the head as he's shaking me. So I'm trying to reach up to make sure I don't get knocked out. And finally the guy calms down and he puts me down. But the guy would like physically picked me up, shook me like a rag doll, and almost threw me over the counter live on the radio.
All because Patty asked, "What's your weakness?"
What's your weakness?
So why didn't
That's
you
a
pick
very
up Patty?
fragile dude. Are we doing shots?
You should have picked up Patty.
She was on
Obviously, there was a weakness there.
She was on the other side of the board. She asked the dangerous questions with me right next to this guy. So
Patty got lucky.
Yeah.
So you've told us that story also about Tracy Morgan, where he was drunk as hell or he was high, or
I don't know what he was on, but he was making some gestures that made my intern uncomfortable, and I don't tolerate. Okay. Yeah, so my intern said, I'm really uncomfortable. So I was like, all right, well, we're gonna go to commercial, and I
okay, good.
Showed him out the door.
Good for you. Yeah.
I was like, but then I forgot to tell the TV station that he was going to go visit next. That
sure you forgot.
Yeah. Right. So then, what TV station was this?
Man, it was probably like Channel 7.
And then they actually had him on, right?
Yeah,
and he was
his shirt and started slapping his belly.
He was. I watched that video.
Well, I mean, somebody's going to get pregnant. So,
oh, that's right.
So, Yeah.
So aside from the sexual harassment, we should probably have him on, no? Because that's our vibe in this podcast. Aside from the
you wanna get
inappropriate
pregnant,
remarks. Yeah, I'm down. She's probably still rich.
As soon as he said that, I told you that he was shirtless. You're like, oh, we got to get him on.
Yeah, we gotta get him on now.
So all right,
Call him up.
He's got money because he just voiced a character from Hopper.
Oh, did he?
It's an animation. Yeah.
It's an animation.
Yeah, it's a cartoon.
Oh, like a movie?
Animated
it's a
movie.
There you go. Thank you, Mike.
So
Fuck you, Joe.
It's an
Do we know what character he was? I don't know what character he was, but he was like a main character on there.
We should have money then.
He should.
oh yeah, he's got money.
I mean, it depends how much child support he's paying.
Mike, what's something listeners would be shocked to know about the morning show?
Something that they would be shocked to know about the morning show, man. Before I got on the morning show, I got fired from Power 102.
Well,
So what were you doing for Power 102 before the morning show?
So I used to do the overnight, midnight to 6.
Okay.
And so when I got into radio, it was like right out of high school, and that's when I was losing most of my eyesight. And so I was just like kind of like really good at faking it. So I would take a Sharpie marker and I would trace everything that I need to read because I couldn't read anything that was as thin as pencil or pen, but it was like the thickness of Sharpie. I could read that a little bit easier. So I started tracing everything so I could read it easier. And my boss started asking like, who's writing on all the music? Who's writing on the commercials and the whole thing? And I didn't say anything because I was losing my eyesight. I was freaking out a little bit. So I just stayed quiet. So he started watching me. He finally figured it out. So he called me in and I was like, hey, like, how come I'm not on the schedule? And he told me, he was like, hey, I've been watching you. He goes, you're losing your eyesight, aren't you? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, well, you're going to have to find something else to do because there's no room for blind people in radio.
No.
And so I got fired. That's how I got fired, which now
also kind of doesn't make sense. I'm like, this is the perfect place for a blind
for
person
someone to draw pictures with words.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. But at the time, I didn't, I was scared. I was a little kid. I didn't know that there's laws to protect you from stuff like that. So I was just like, I'm going to prove you wrong. So I left and I went to college. I got my associates in communications. I got my bachelor's in radio, television, and film. But I also learned how to be better at being visually impaired or blind. And I learned my laws and I got better and I came back and I got rehired. And so I was like,
and you even got a promotion because you're the morning.
So I was no longer the midnight to 6
you're not
guy.
a graveyard. You're day shift now.
So,
yeah.
So
did you ever tell him who needs to see? Who needs to see now? No, good thing you didn't. You'd get fired.
Yeah. Also, it'd be like, that's not even a good comeback. Mike, what the fuck did you learn in college? Who needs to see, man? You're like, what?
He's like, you're back on the midnight to 6 shift. Taking you off the morning.
Like, there's no room for fucking idiots here. We don't care that you're blind. You're just fucking weird.
We need you to come back with better punchlines. I like how you emphasize see. Let me see.
Who needs to see?
Like Abel tried to go into his like 1940s gangster voice.
Yeah.
See, here, see.
See? Are we doing this?
Yeah,
cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
Cheers, Mike.
Cheers to Mike.
There you go.
Cheers to
Here's
Mike.
looking up your address. Nice.
In your time in radio, you've gone through so many different eras of like, what was it, like the 8-track, cassettes, the mini disc, CDs, and now everything's digital, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So does that change the way of how you would play music, or everything's always been like just digital?
No, I was like, when I started at Power, I was like, if you didn't press the button, it didn't play. Like every commercial, every little sound effect, every song, like if you didn't press the button, it didn't play. I mean, it took a whole lot more skill. I was like, and I was, did you watch the Michael Jackson movie yet?
I have not seen it yet.
Have you seen it, Joe?
I have not. I want to watch that, and I want to watch Project Hail Mary.
Okay.
Those are my two on my list. But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So in the Michael Jackson movie, and this is totally going to date myself. They have these things called reel to reels, and you see them like in like old like sci-fi movies. It's like a big wheel and it's spinning and it's pulling tape from one side
Mm-hmm.
to the other, and that's how we did all the recording in radio. You had these big spools pulling.
Oh, right,
and,
right.
And then
Which is why they're called cuts.
right, because you would when somebody would call in on the
Because
phone,
they're like literal cutting.
Good point,
Yeah.
Joe. Good point.
you would take a razor blade and physically cut out what you didn't want on there. And so I was like, back when that was a thing, it took like a whole lot more skill to be, instead of like, oh, let me just press the rewind and then press start and then you go. Like you had to cut everything out, and I was like, it took a whole lot more skill. So I kind of miss that, I'll admit.
How would so when I do the editing for this podcast, which takes a long time.
Forever. So we're filming this in May. You'll probably see this in
so
December. 2027. Merry Christmas,
Mike
y'all.
D will be coming out.
Yeah, this Y2K
It takes
is
me a
everything.
long time to edit. I had zero knowledge of editing, so YouTube University helped me out, but I'm doing all the editing, and it's tough. It's real tough. But when I'm doing the editing, and I cut, obviously the audio is already linked to or associated with that clip, right?
Right.
So when I cut, it cuts the audio too. When you did it with Reels, how would you do the audio? Because the audio doesn't come from the Reels, right?
It does.
Oh,
So
okay.
so it's on the reels, yeah. So you're taking literally like holding like, okay, this is if
Oh,
somebody
okay.
if somebody cuts on the radio, you would cut it off, and you're just like, oh, but you didn't want it to sound glitchy, so you would flip it over and you play all the bad words backwards, so that way you didn't have those awkward spaces in there.
Oh,
And so yeah, so you
I didn't know. I didn't know the
physically-
audio was in there too. I thought it was just a picture, and then the audio would come from somewhere else. My bad.
no, so it was so
Okay.
just
So same thing then, but just digital now,
well,
and a lot easier now.
that's what I'm saying. So whatever
So
you're
it
doing
would
now,
have taken me 3 years.
multiply it times 3. That's
Yeah.
how long it would probably
Oh
take you to do
man,
it
yeah,
physically.
we'd never air anything. Yeah, that's yeah. We would have to be recording like last year to see anything this year. With the way I'm taking, no, it takes me a long time,
No,
and then
you'll get there.
and another thing, it's hard to watch because I am not even here. Like I'm watching myself, and I know what my ADHD won't let me be here because I'll give you an example. We had Buzz Adams, and I had told Abel, "Hey, Buzz Adams is from Oklahoma. His inspiration was Paul Harvey, who he's going to bring up Paul Harvey for sure. And Paul Harvey's from Oklahoma, but he had a radio station in Chicago where you're from. So when he brings that up, I'm going to say, oh yeah, he's from Oklahoma, from where you're from. Abel, did you ever listen to Paul Harvey when you lived in Chicago?" And we'll kind of introduce Abel as a Chicagoan, Chicagoite,
Chicagoan.
Chicagoetian.
Chicago,
And so,
Chicago.
so then Chicagoan. So then,
Why'd you tell him that, Mike?
Chicagoan.
Fucking face lit up. He's like, yeah.
Chicagoan.
He's all saving that one.
Oh, great.
So yeah, so eventually Buzz Adams brings up Paul Harvey, and then I'm like, oh, perfect. And then he asks Abel, hey, have you ever heard of Paul Harvey? And then Abel goes like, yeah, he's from Chicago. Dude, it fucked me all up.
I fucked that up.
I was like, God damn it, dude. So I was like, I had a whole set of like questions, and like this was gonna segue this way, and it happened in my head differently, and I'm like, God damn it, fuck, bro. So then it
Bro,
fucked me
keep
up.
in mind, he told me about his plan, and I still fucked it up.
But yeah, it fucked me up, and the whole time I was thinking, like, how do I get back over there? And like, how do I? Okay, I can still do it. I think I can still salvage
You're
this.
still in your head about
And I'm like, and then like it's been like 5-10 minutes of me thinking about it. I'm like, wait, what the fuck are we talking about now? So then I was just, dude, and I'm watching myself, and I'm looking over here. I'm like, Kathy, make sure you pull this picture up, blah blah blah. And then I'm like over here with the bartender. But yeah,
I've only met Buzz Adams once,
mm-hmm.
and he was congenial. He was nice to me. So,
Okay.
so we were like, I was like, okay, it was a good interaction, which was odd because we're in radio and we've only met face to face once.
Yeah.
Have you met any other radio personalities
I mean,
throughout the years?
yeah, sure. Like, yeah, I think just about everybody. Like,
Was
Yeah.
Was there anybody that you were surprised at how just like you just had a negative
Vibe?
Oh, that's a tough one. I was like, no. I was like, I don't. I'm not the type that would probably like, even if there was somebody that was like super negative, I probably wouldn't bring it up. I'd like,
okay? You can just like not say
yeah,
his or her name.
I would just squash it there.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so I was like,
No,
no, I don't,
Okay.
I was like, not negative enough for me to say like, oh,
so
dude,
like
this guy,
I fucking
right here.
hate this guy.
Yeah,
or-
I wouldn't do that.
At least we know it's a guy.
There goes Detective Joe. See?
See, I got some evidence. See,
We just eliminated 75% of people.
Now you see, or no? What? You don't have to
You
see.
don't have to see.
you have to see. It's all in stretching out the sea.
Mike, what was the hardest adjustment after losing your sight?
Oh,
The seeing part?
the sea, right? The not bumping into stuff. I couldn't juggle knives the way I used to.
Couldn't work because I got fired.
What was the? It's so funny because I was having a conversation with my friend Lauda, and she was talking to me. She's like, "Hey, I was watching this video on social media, and there's this guy, and he can't see, and he's like, he walked all the way to the store, and he went and picked out something out of the shelf and paid for it, and I'm like, like because for me, like that's every day." And she's all like, yeah. I was like, I don't have to walk as far as I did before. But when I was at UT Austin, so I moved to Austin because I didn't know anybody there. So I moved there on purpose because I figured if I was going to lose my eyesight, I needed to be really good at it. So I picked a place where I didn't know anybody. And there wasn't anybody there to prepare your food. There wasn't anybody there to help you in class.
I got you. Yeah.
So literally, like from the bottom up, I went somewhere
Yeah.
where I didn't know anybody. Well, it's all good and dandy. I was like, until you get accepted. I was blessed. My wife talked me into applying at UT Austin. I didn't think I was going to get in. I got accepted. UT Austin is huge. If you've ever been to UTEP, yeah, it's way bigger than UTEP.
Yeah.
And now I have to figure out how to get from my apartment all the way to my class at UT Austin. And I was like, and sometimes it was more difficult to get from that place all the way into my classroom. That was more difficult than the actual class was. And so it was a good test. So it's not one thing. Cause like one day it'll be everybody moves stuff around that you were used to. And then that complicates your life. And then other times it's, you weren't paying enough attention and you ended up tripping over something. So I was like, so sometimes it's like, and then if you ever get comfortable, then you're screwed. Cause when you get comfortable, that's when you bump into stuff. That's when you knock stuff over.
You're complacent and you think
So it's never one thing. It changes everything.
Did you ever develop a skill or
He's speaking because he's seen the movie Daredevil.
I've seen the
So
movie
he's like,
Daredevil.
can you like super hear everything?
Yeah, like are you able to like kick people's ass?
Oh man. I mean that's a tough one. I don't know if I've like developed because I know everybody's thinking like, oh man, this guy could like smell me across the room.
Yeah.
I'm not
I've been holding this fart
right
for like 10 minutes.
Let it go. I'm like my sense of smell isn't like all that.
We can all smell it.
Oh,
Right.
You don't need
Except for
special
Mike.
senses to smell your farts.
You don't need to be blind
Yeah.
to smell that fart.
But I think you just pay attention to a lot of other senses.
Yeah.
A lot more. And you end up kind of creating. Have you ever done this where, and this is a good exercise. Have you done this, Abel? Like you're in bed, right? And then you hear a noise outside.
Mhm.
And in your head, you start to draw the scenario. Okay, if there's somebody out there, I'm going to reach over and I've got this bat next to the window and I'm going to do, and like you draw like a scenario in your head of what you will do if there's somebody out there.
Right.
Do you do that or no? Was that just me?
No, yeah, I have done that.
You've done that?
And then I just go, babe. Go
You look outside. He draws a scenario.
and back to sleep.
Kathy, I'll stay with the kids. Go outside, see you.
You in
What's
your job, you've got to do the same thing.
What's
though,
lurking in the dark?
Right. And
So I do that quite often at work, at least. At
Okay.
work, I do it all the time. I like it's kind of comes with the territory. We have to kind of always think ahead and
Right.
think like if
This
this
is-
happens, then I got to plan for this. If this happens, I got to plan.
So
and
then-
99% of the time, it doesn't happen, right? But at least you're prepared.
Right. So being visually impaired, like you have to kind of plan that out where you're like, okay, I'm going to do this. But if this is blocked or this is a step down or whatever. And like a good example was, like, I don't know, like 15 years ago, I was on a lesson where I was having to cross the street. And I always told myself, I was like, if you're going to get hit by a car, jump right before the car hits you, because you never want to end up under the car. But you see those stunt guys that they like slide off the hood and then they keep running. Yeah, it doesn't work that way because I'm crossing the street. I'm on a crosswalk and I can hear this car coming at me. And all of a sudden I'm like really paying attention to my senses. And I could hear the transmission shifting up. They're not slowing down.
Oh.
And I'm like, I'm going to get hit by this car. And I tell myself, I'm going to jump. Well, in your dream, you jump really high. In real life, I must have like hopped maybe a foot off the ground. The front of the car. It's
just a small little skip.
But here's the thing, though. I was like, you also don't want to look like an idiot before you get hit. Like jump up and down, and then you get hit by a car. So I'm like, oh, this got to look good. So I jump up, and as soon as I jump up, boom, the front of the car hits my feet, throws me on the hood, almost throws me through the windshield.
Oh, wow. You jumped pretty high then.
Yeah, it was pretty high.
But
it was a lowrider.
But turns out it was, yeah. But no, so if I hadn't have drawn that scenario in my head,
right,
I'd have wound up under the car, and it'd have been a different story. So
it would have been too late if you went to reacted.
So that's the thing. Like, so certain things that I will like, as I'm walking or doing something, I have to tell myself, okay, if it's this situation, how are you going to handle it? What are you going to do? So you're always kind of in your head.
That's the second time you also almost got hit by a car in front of your house
a year ago.
Yeah.
See, but that was the same thing because I was so afraid.
You jumped, but did you jump that time?
No,
or no?
I stepped.
He jumped into the car
back. It was the same person though. I was like, no, I was taking out the garbage. I was pushing the can out, and I could hear somebody speeding down the street. But ever since I got hit by the car the first time, I've always been kind of jittery around like cars that are going really fast. And I said, man, that car's going fast. I let go of the garbage can that I was putting in front of my house. I took 2 steps back, and boom, that car went up on the sidewalk, took out the trash cans, went up across my front yard, and totaled 3 cars in front of my neighbor's house. And I was like, "Whoa, geez!"
There was no way you'd survive that one.
Well, no, the most disappointing part about it was that the police get there and they go, "Who saw this?" And I'm like, "I'm the only eyewitness."
Oh, damn! Man, see,
copper, I'm the only eyewitness.
I can't help much there.
And then I turned to Abel and he said, "See."
Do you feel that people underestimate you when they meet you?
Yeah, but I don't mind it as much because I like to prove people wrong.
Right.
Because it was, I don't know. It's like, as someone that's like has a disability, like you're always proving yourself, and you're just like, oh, like what, here we go again. And I tell my daughter's like teaching class. I was like, oh man, like when I see somebody pulling off like a big pendejada, I'm like, oh, I was like, so I'll turn to them. I was like, should I teach class? In other words, do I write this wrong? Do I tell them this is how it is? I was like, because it's hard to teach every single day. And sometimes they're like, no, just let it go. But yeah, sometimes there'll be something that they'll second guess or they'll get wrong. And I'll be like, oh, okay, well, here we go. Now we've got to prove them wrong. And then we'll do it. But I'll admit, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that people are like, I don't know if you can do that. My daughter's gone to class, whatever. And then somebody had seen her out with her dad, with me, and we're out. And they said, oh, I don't know, your dad can see. And then they'll ask her, like, well, how does he walk? And she's like, he's got legs. He just can't see.
He bear crawls everywhere.
Yeah. So I was like, so you get those questions. But for some people, those are honest questions. Like they've never seen someone that's visually impaired. And that's why I'll purposely, like, you'll see me when I'm out. Like I usually have the white cane. And I don't always need it. Sometimes the reason I have the white cane is for other people. I want them to see someone that's visually impaired, go on stage and introduce a concert, do stand-up comedy, do some incredible things. So that way, the next time they meet somebody that's visually impaired, they don't second guess that person.
So you always wanted to be a DJ, or how did that come up that you wanted to be in radio?
So growing up, my dad was a police officer. So I actually wanted to go into law enforcement. So I was big time nerd about, learning my 10 codes and my phonetic alphabet, and I would go on ride-alongs, and I would do all this stuff, and then when I started losing my eyesight, I would start freaking out. I was like, oh, they're not gonna give me a gun and let me,
Right.
but I had started DJing when I was 13, and I really loved it. I just, that control of, you're the one that controls that entire room. Like you could make that entire room dance, you can make that entire room sit down, you can make that entire room cry, you had all that control, and I was like, man, this is incredible. And I learned that at age 13, and I was like, I was like, wow, like, so you get paid for this? And I remember like getting the first like big payday. Like, you're like, here I am 13, and you're walking out with $200-300 a night for age 13. You're like, oh crap, like,
Wow,
this
so
is
13.
serious.
So what age did you start losing your eyesight?
So, oh, see, that's a good one. So, I didn't realize I was losing my sight until I was probably like 7 or 8. I was in baseball, and we would practice during the day. And the thing about the condition that I have, it's RP, retinitis pigmentosa. They most of the time, the first sign is that you can't see at night. So we would practice during the day, and then the games were at night. And I was pretty decent at practice, and then I sucked at the games.
Shit.
like all of a sudden they're hitting the ball to me, and I'm like, dude, I can't see the ball. And the good part about it is I was right field. My best friend David was center field.
Yeah.
And he would tell me, he's like, dude, here comes the ball. And I was like, which way? He's like, to the left, to the right. And I was like, and I knew that once that ball landed, like, I couldn't let it pass me because I wasn't going to be able to find it. So I learned how to get in front of it, and I got hit in the face. I got hit in the chest. I was like, but I thought, well, maybe everybody else is just really good at getting around at night. I just suck at it. And I remember parents, like, when the inning changed, you're walking back to the dugout, and I remember hearing the adults going like, man, this kid can't catch for shit, but he's brave.
He's got balls on him.
He sacrifices his face a lot.
And I remember hearing the grown-ups say that, and I was like, wow. I was like, I guess. I was like, I'm brave, but I was like, it's just because I couldn't, so it was like an early lesson that I couldn't let it get past me. So I was like, all right.
Yeah.
So I would tell my parents, I was like, dude, I can't see at night. And they would take me to the optometrist, which is like the regular eye doctor. Like, you're going to lens crafters, and those guys are made to figure out what kind of glasses you need, not if you have some kind of genetic disorder or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, you're fine. Here, put on these glasses. And I was like, okay. Well, they said I'm fine. So it wasn't until like my senior year in high school that I'm like, dude, it's not just at night anymore. Like, during the day, it got to the point where I couldn't tell where the sidewalk would end and the street would start.
Fuck.
And then it got really complicated. But I was like, well, I guess this is what we got to do. So you figure out how to adjust. Like, every day you just adjust a little bit more.
Abel and I might be going blind because we're great at practice, and then once it comes to it,
once it's live,
we're like, just like, what the fuck is going on?
That's probably why he takes forever to fucking edit, because he's so headset for shit.
He's losing his hearing too.
So you mentioned you had a daughter. You're married?
I'm married. It's gonna be 26 years in July. 2 daughters. One's 18, the other one's 14, and yeah, I was like, and they're awesome. I was like, and to them, they're like, they still like forget that I can't see. They'll still, like, throw me the remote and stuff like that, which I love. Like, the fact that
catch the remote like you did baseball, Dad.
Exactly. like, you do suck. This kid.
Don't use your eyesight as an excuse.
But
you always suck.
But you know what I appreciate? I was like, and Kathy laughs about it back there, but I was like, I love that people forget, because if people like always think that you can't, when people forget, that's the best time, because you're like, wow, like, you're just everybody else.
I remember one time we went to a club, me and Mike, right? And he's all like, hey, I'm like, what's up? I gotta go to the bathroom. And I was like, cool. And then he's like, oh my God, take me. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot.
Oh yeah.
Dude, and clubs are like the most difficult ones, because first of all, you got drunk people in the bathroom. You don't want to bump into a drunk person in the bathroom. And then the other part is like, it's loud. So I use my hearing for everything. And when the volume is up at a 10 and everybody, like, it's disorienting, and you're just like, oh man, like, how do I maneuver from here? So like, normal situation I can handle. But when it's like super loud in there, I need an Abel, bro. Like, I need some guidance.
What's the
if we look extra shiny today, it's because it's hot as hell in here and we're a little sweaty.
it's all the lights you got
It's the
on?
lights, huh?
Just so you can see our dark ass.
Yeah, because we're a little
Folks, these lights are so bright I can see them.
yeah.
We're tanning.
We're melanin inclined.
We're tanning while we do this podcast.
Do you guys use Chat GPT?
I do not.
But
And it's
you
not
don't?
that
I know Kathy does. And Kathy, have you told Chat GPT? Have you asked Chat GPT with everything that you know about me? Can you roast me?
I'm sure I could.
No, but
I don't need
you haven't done it.
ChatGPT.
Why?
Yes, you do.
Did ChatGPT
To roast you? No.
Dude, I asked ChatGPT. I was talking to Amanda,
Uh-huh.
and she was telling me what she thought about the podcast, and she was giving me suggestions and whatnot.
What'd she say about me? No, I'm just kidding.
She said she said you look really handsome. She asked me if I ever asked ChatGPT to roast me, and I did it right there as we were talking.
Yeah.
Okay, so I asked, with everything that you know about me, can you roast me? And this is what he said. He or she? I think it's he. Maybe she. Said you started a podcast called Clocked Out, but somehow you're the one that's always clocked in. Every episode prep turns into a full CIA operation.
You're smarter than I thought.
You've got interview notes, emergency questions, viral moment contingencies, timer strategies, YouTube SEO, Instagram bios, banner redesigns. Meanwhile, Abel probably just showing up like, so what are we talking about today?
That's accurate. That's why I'm like, next. Yeah, you're old. Yeah.
It's you treat every guest like you're preparing for a presidential debate. Buzz Adams was born in Oklahoma. Blah blah. Joe, you're one Google search away from finding his blood type. And the funniest part is the entire concept of the podcast is who people are outside of work. But every 5 minutes you're asking, so what exactly do you do? You spent more time removing police patches from photos than some departments spend issuing them. At this point, your editing requests sound like a witness protection. Keep everything the same, but remove every identifying feature and make me slightly taller. So,
oh my God.
Remember,
I'm definitely not
so Kathy,
ChatGPT to roast me.
So Kathy made a promotional a picture of me and Abel, and it has this
Logo.
this logo behind. I just forgot your fucking. I'm so
good.
sorry.
No, that's good.
It's because you're so. You know what?
I'm pointing at it. I can tell.
I'm pointing at it.
I was like,
This is exactly
I
why
was
people.
pointing
that
at
he
it.
starts going like this, even though I can't see.
Yeah,
I know he's going, this logo right here.
I'm starting
this
to
is
question if
Mike.
you can see.
Mike, you're so good at looking at us.
So
And you're so good at it. Like you're so good at that I forget. You're like a modern day Helen Keller without the weird noises.
couldn't be Daredevil. I have to be Helen Keller. Wow.
I think you're Daredevil, bro. Even though Joe's over there calling you a chick.
Right? I'm over here.
So she made
I'll
one
finish
with
roasting you here.
but it's,
ChatGPT got nothing on Mike.
it's bigger on the left side. So it looked like Abel was towering over me. So I asked ChatGPT, "Can you make me taller, or can you make the guy on the left taller?"
He's also being a little dramatic.
It looks all right. I just wanted us to be the same height.
So tell me if this is weird. So I refuse to use Chat GPT because I think I'd like to believe that I'm a very creative person.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that when you use Chat GPT to do a lot of that creativity for you, you'll lose it.
I kind of agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was very creative. I'd make flyers. I do all this. And now it's just easier so that I feel like I'm like, nah. I also think it's easier because it's less time consuming to have to do that.
Right. But you didn't have to think about it, right?
Right. I just went, put in this information in and it created something for me versus me spending a whole hour creating a flyer though.
Yeah.
So it's like a plus and a minus at the same time.
I mean, maybe. So and to be honest, ChatGPT isn't always perfect. They don't give you the best result either. You do have
Sure.
to.
Yeah, you've still got to adjust a little.
You got it right. So
Right.
so when I try to come up with good questions, like I'll come up with some questions and then I'll ask ChatGPT, and then I'll still do research on our guests. I'll do like I'll watch other podcasts. I'll read other interview like articles, and then I'll gather what information I think is important, give it to ChatGPT, and then ask it like, "Hey, with everything that I just gave you, what are good questions?" Right, and then I'll compare its questions with my questions, and then I'll decide which one's better, or like I have to like keep adjusting it. Like, nah, I don't really like this question. No, I want it more like this. No, I want it more. So you have to keep. It's not like, oh, hey, give me questions to ask Mike Dee. Like, no, like you still have to. You kind of have to guide it to
Right.
to get the answers that you want.
And I'll admit, I was like, so we've been blessed to be able to interview some really cool people on radio. And so we'll do the same thing. We'll research, where they went to school, how they grew up, and everything else. The best interviews have been when something natural came, like we were just joking about it. I was like Chris Kattan. He was on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, he was. What's that movie where he's a CIA agent or not?
Yeah. He was in that.
Would you like to buy some cookies?
Yeah, that guy. That's him. He was in Night at the Roxbury. He was on Saturday Night Live. Like at one point, like we were having this interview.
Corky Romano. Sorry.
There you go. And we clicked. Like we were just like, it's like we grew up together, and it was such a great interview. And if you ask Patty, she'll tell you, she's like, at one point at the interview, she's like, "You want to leave you guys alone? Like, you guys don't even need me." Like,
you were broing out, yeah,
completely. And so there's certain times that you have to find that connection, not where you read this or ChatGPT that or whatever.
Yeah,
like I was like, if I wanted to connect with you and Abel, like with Abel, like Abel and I have a great story about the time that we almost got beat up at a club by a professional boxer.
Oh yeah,
and I was like, and then like you, like connection with you, like I don't know how many people know how much you love music. Like Joe has this cymbal attached to the vent in his vehicle, and when he's jamming out, he hits this cymbal.
Yeah,
pass. And I'm like,
a percussion cymbal, not a cymbal like
right. No,
not
not the LGBTQ
Prince
one,
right?
Not the artist form. Yeah, that's
but everybody has like, and it's those connections. That's what makes interviews great. Is when you find that small connection.
You're right. Yeah, no, that's true. And ChatGPT can't do that for you. Which is how I got to know who you are and what you're about and all the wonderful things that you're doing, like with Mike Dee's Big Adventure. You want to explain what Mike Dee's Big Adventure is real quick?
Sure. So we were on a family trip. We went to the aquarium in Albuquerque, and I feel bad for the people that run that aquarium in Albuquerque because I feel like I'm talking trash about this aquarium. It's a nice aquarium, but we went, and it was when my daughter was tiny, and so they're having to describe to me what's behind the glass in the aquariums. And for me, it's just I just hear the filter and there's a piece of glass, and they're like, "Oh no, it's a purple fish that just swam by," and whatever. It was lame. It sucked, and I was like, "Man." So we're driving back from Albuquerque after leaving the aquarium, and I get in my head, I'm like, "This has really got to blow for kids." At least I knew what they were talking about, but there's certain kids that never got to see, and they have no idea what they're talking about. And I'm like, man, I was like, we could create some kind of experience where we could take kids on a trip or create experiences that they normally wouldn't get a chance to do. That would be incredible. So I went on the radio the next day and I told the story. I was like, I want to create an experience, something that we can do for these kids and change the experiences that they're exposed to. Mm-hmm. So I said, if anybody's with me, call up now. And so we get a call from this girl who's incredible. Her name's Anna, and she says, "I believe in what you want to do. You tell me what where and when, and we'll do it." And I was like, "Oh my God, if she believes in this, there's got to be other people that believe in it." And so we started going around asking, how do we do this? And I went to a meeting, and this was I was like, I almost don't want to say it was a Lions Club meeting, and because their mission is to help people with visual impairments, and so I go to this meeting. I was like, I want to do this trip, and we want to do this thing, and after I presented, they said, "Oh, that's nice and everything, but parents are never going to let their kids travel with you. By the way, you'll never raise $10,000 to go on this trip." But I was like, you know what? I was like, thank you for saying that we can't do it because now we've got to do it.
Right.
So then I went and I found the right people that said, we believe in the trip. You're going to do it. And so we were like, okay. So we got the yes. We got the people to back us up. It's like, how do we raise the money? And they told us that we couldn't raise $10,000. So I said, okay, well, then what we have to do is we have to raise 20 because it's twice what they said we couldn't do. So I start calling around. And early on in Gabriel Iglesias' career, the comedian, we had helped each other out. And I called him up and I said, hey, look, I want to do this trip. And everybody says that I'm crazy. And I was like, I'd love to do a fundraiser. And I don't know if you're available. And he says, you tell me the date. I'll tell you if I'm open. So a couple of weeks later, Gabriel flew down on his own dime and said, let's do a show. And we did a show and we raised all the money in one show. And that's how we went. Because they said, you can't do this. And this is how much you can't do. And we're like, okay, we'll do twice that.
Shout out to Gabriel Iglesias.
Oh, absolutely.
AKA Fluffy. Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, Mike, I don't think you can get Gabriel Iglesias to come on clocked out.
So you might want to go.
You're absolutely right.
You might.
But yeah,
so it's a success. It was a success. I mean, you're how many years is it 5, 6?
16 years ago.
16, damn.
16 years ago. And we've been blessed to be
You're still going strong. And just to clarify, it's not just for blind kids. It's for kids of all disabilities.
Absolutely. And that was something that we learned really quick. Like it wasn't just one type of disability. It was all types of disabilities that deserve the chance to challenge themselves on how independent they can be. And we would do these different events, but we'd let them taste a little bit of independence. And then afterwards they would say, oh, wow, what else can I do on my own? And I've had parents tell me like, this is a different kid. Like I was like, I didn't think that my kid wanted to, prepare their own meals and cook their own food and make their own bed and everything else. And it started with little tiny things. And people who've been through the program have gone on to get their masters or doctorates, open their own businesses, go off, get married, have kids, and done all these incredible things. And the first taste of independence was on the big adventure.
So when you started taking the kids on the trip, how many kids did you take, and what's the number you're at right now?
So we started off with 20 kids the first trip that we took, and then it grew, and then it got complicated after COVID because we couldn't all get on a bus, and so it got really complicated. So we started doing local events instead of one trip. So we went from having, let's say, 25 kids on a bus to now doing different activities where we interact with over 3,000 people throughout the year.
That's big
awesome.
Jump.
Yeah, that's.
Mike, you want a shot?
I'll take a shot.
Can we get Mike a shot, please?
Mike wants a shot.
Is there any particular tequila you want? There's Hornitos, Corralejo.
What's in a buttery nipple?
Casamigos, buttery nipple. I have
That's
no idea.
butter and breast milk.
Give me 2.
Are we doing this?
Yeah.
Let's take that
We
shot.
got one?
Yes.
Cheers.
What are we drinking to?
Cheers
To
Mike
Dee's Big Adventure.
Big Adventure. There you go.
All right. Lighter fluid. Thanks.
Oh,
You're the one that did the hand gesture up.
Oh, because he said, I didn't know what that meant.
Jason said.
Before that just meant go horns.
I
Hook 'em.
just did the Hornitos and washed it down with Hennessy. Wow.
Jeez.
So all the people that you've interviewed, which was your favorite? And well, obviously least favorite was Homeboy, right?
You talking about Tracy Morgan?
Yeah, Tracy Morgan's your
No,
least.
you know
or
what? He wasn't even my least favorite.
That was worse.
Right way.
It was, who was it, man? Juvenile that guy was kind of a jerk.
Was he not mature?
He was very juvenile. Yeah. Like, no, he's like, I was going to do some interviews before a concert. And so I walked up and I was taking out the microphone out of the pack, and I was supposed to do this interview and record some stuff for the radio station. And then he turns to, which to me is like one of the biggest insults. Like if you and I are somewhere, and because they realize that I'm visually impaired, if they tell you, "Hey Joe, tell Mike that I said," and I'm all, "Bro, I'm right here. You can tell me." So he turned to my boss next to me. He goes, "Hey, is he going to record me?" And then I was like, "What?" Like, I'm right here in front of him. And I'm like, "No, you know what? I'm not going to record you." And so I started putting the stuff away. And he's like, "Wait, but I need that interview to promote this new album." And I go, "Well, I guess you should have thought about it." And I walked off.
Being a fucking douchebag.
So so that was one. But I was just like, I'll admit, I appreciate that you're famous and you've done whatever, but because you're famous, I'm not going to tolerate you acting like a jerk.
Mm-hmm.
Like I won't. Same thing with like comedian Paul Rodriguez. Like the first time I met him, like he was a jerk to Patty, and then he was a jerk to me. So the next time they're like, "Hey, Paul Rodriguez wants to come on the show," and I was like, "Well, he should have been a nice guy. He's not. So move along."
You have that pool? Like you can decide who comes in and comes like.
Bro, when it's called a Mike and Patty morning show.
All right.
Well, so technically it's so weird, but technically, like, I'm the executive producer of the show, even though once the show's over, Patty's my boss because she's the program director. So since she's in charge of all the DJs, so we have this. But
during the
balance.
show, you can.
I have more pull during the show than after the show. So,
Prove it. What kind of pull? Bring somebody on.
Bring somebody on. Who would you?
He's like, do the work, and
who would you have on the show, Kathy?
Well, Usher's coming into town.
Oh God, she just doesn't want to have him on the show. She's like, he can come shirtless.
And it's so funny. I was like,
at any time.
If I was gonna try to get, so I would try more for Usher than I would for Chris Brown.
Yeah,
because a lot of people, like, I'm one that never got over what happened with Rihanna. Like, I never got over it.
Yeah.
So I was at one point, one of the other times that he came into town, they said, "Mike, do you want to be the guy that introduces them on stage?" And I said, "Nope." I was like, "I'll pass on that because I don't want to be a hypocrite. I don't want to say like, hey, I don't,
I don't agree with.
Yeah, I don't agree with." And then all of a sudden be a hypocrite and go on stage and be like, "Hey, get excited. You're so-and-so." And I'm like, "No.
That's true. Yeah.
So if I tell you that, I don't like this person, I'm not going to be a hypocrite and just be like, oh, it's a chance to get on stage with Chris Brown." I was like, no. I was like, he did that years ago. But he still did that.
I like that you have those morals and ethics, like what you were telling me about how you don't promote certain, like you don't do certain commercials because you don't believe in the product.
Well, yeah, I was like, I'm not going to tell you to go out and buy a car from here or there if I had a bad experience at that place. I was like, because they asked me to do endorsements, and it's got to be something that I like. I was like, I would hate for someone to say like, "Hey, Mike sent me over here. I heard him talk about this." And we went and it was horrible. So, yeah, because I was like, people, we ride in their car every morning. They go to school, they go to work, they go to wherever they're going, and we're
if they trust you. Yeah.
I was like, I'd hate to break that trust because
you wanted some extra money, or
because I wanted to make an extra $100 a commercial to promote this or that. I was like, I'll admit, I would like the bigger paycheck, but I'm not willing to sacrifice my image for it.
And that's ever since I met you obviously not, because when I met you, I didn't know you were Mike Dee from the radio station. But with all this time hanging out with you and stuff, which this is why it's so hard for me to actually conduct this interview, because I feel like I know everything about you. So it's hard for me to ask a question and I'm like, damn, should I ask that? Nah, that's stupid. Should I ask this? Nah.
That makes sense, because you've known him for years,
Perfect example. Most of the time, be like, well, what kind of person are you on air? Are you a different person off air? But I don't ask because I know the question. But that's one thing I like about Mike, is that he's the same person, genuine, on air and off air. What you're hearing is the person that he really is in life, I guess. Is that accurate, Mike?
Yeah, I couldn't do it. There's too many people that live that double life that you're like,
right.
I had at one point, I had a boss that, he wasn't even my boss, but he worked in our building, and he says, you should see me outside the office because I'm a whole different guy. And I said, well, I feel bad for you. And he says, what do you mean? I said, if you can't be the person that you are outside of the office, then it's not worth it. Like, how is somebody paying you enough to not be yourself from 9 to 5? Like, that doesn't even make sense. I was like, I couldn't even tell you what my number would be for you to try to figure out how to pay me to not be myself. I was like, because a lot of us get lost at work, and you're just like, oh man, that guy's a jerk in the office. How come when we went to the Christmas party, he was that fun guy and whatever.
Because he was lit.
Yeah, I was like, but if you're getting paid to not be yourself, I was like, it better be a giant paycheck because they couldn't pay me enough to do it.
Yeah,
I was like, and there's certain like realness because I was like, so I don't even think like Joe knows this story. I was like, so we're talking about how Abel and I have connected, just like being friends. So during COVID, like everything was scary all the time. Like you didn't know who to talk to. What
Right.
And my wife, she works in the medical industry, so she was like right in the middle of it, and it was crazy to watch people talking about, oh, this is fake, whatever. And my wife would come home and she was like, we ran out of place to put the bodies. Like we had to bring in a truck, the freezer truck, to put more people in there that passed from this. So I'm watching the news and people are like, no, this is fake, whatever. And I'm like, this is really tough. So so my wife is going through the whole process every day, going right in the middle of it every day. And she ends up catching it and brings it home. And the first person that caught it is her mom, who's in her 80s. And, and this is before any of the vaccines or anything.
Yeah.
And she caught it. And we're like, oh, my God. So we're trying to figure out, there's no vaccine. They haven't figured out a procedure for it or anything. And we start making some calls, and they're doing this infusion that has been successful. And we're like, well, we've got to get her to this thing. I can't drive. And my wife's at work trying to help all the people who have got it. And we're like, how do we figure out how to get my mother-in-law over to the hospital so she can get this infusion that will hopefully save her life? And we're just trying to figure it all out. Guess who steps up?
Really?
This guy.
Damn.
That guy right there. He hadn't had it. He didn't know, if he was going to catch it, whatever.
This was before we got it, Abel?
Yeah, it was about a month or 2 months.
Abel and all three
thanks
of us.
to Joe, I got COVID.
Okay, thanks to me.
Yeah.
Right.
It was your fault, dude.
It was my fault. How was it my fault? I didn't give it to you. Do you remember who it was? Do you remember who it was?
How long ago was that?
Well, it had just come out also.
He said it was a month after your situation. Yeah. So first off, Abel, that's amazing. What an amazing friend.
I remember you called me, and what did you tell me? You're like, hey, can I ask you something?
I was like, can I ask you something? I was like, I said, you can say no. And I completely understand. I was like, well, my mother-in-law's got COVID and they're going to give you this infusion. I got to get her over there now. But I was like, the risk is that she's got it. We know she's got it. And I know you haven't got it. And Abel didn't even hesitate. He's just like, all right, I'll be right over. He put on a mask and he just came over.
Awesome.
And I was like, wow. I was like, that's everything. That says everything about a person.
Yeah. No, Abel's.
It's not even
since
his
I've met him.
Yeah.
No, since I've met him, Abel's always been a really good friend.
And that's how I felt about Mike, because at this point, I knew you like what, maybe 10 years?
Yeah, at least
like about 10 years already. So it wasn't even something that I'm gonna think about because I was like, no, well, I mean, Mike's like family, so I'm like, yeah, sure, let's go. It wasn't even like, I don't know, man.
You're like,
can I get back to you?
Right yeah, but you ran the risk of catching it and then taking it home, and you were just like, well, let's
fuck it.
Yeah, let's just get it.
Wait,
done.
What day was this? So you gave it to
here
us.
we go. Look, Joe's trying to be all this.
So Abel gave us COVID.
No,
when we went to the river.
No, it just come out. It was like fresh out the gate.
Now we know who gave us COVID.
Shut your ass up.
No. Do you remember who gave it? Do you remember who it was?
It's some cholo dude.
No. The guys who were gonna fight.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't them. So we went to the river. Where's it at? TRC.
TRC. Yeah, the river. What is it called? The floating river thing.
Yeah, it's the
COVID river.
Actually, yeah, we did call it the COVID river. Yeah, so we went to
like 20 of us, and out of 20, 15 got it because of Joe.
So we go to the river.
But you clowns, they had said, do not gather in groups. Do not get out of your bubble. And there's 20 of you, and I know 20 of you weren't in the bubble.
No, we were 6 feet apart.
None of us.
apart.
None of us.
You guys were all around the cooler, wherever the drinks were.
I worked in a very small unit. There was four of us, and one supervisor.
Small unit. Okay, keep going.
So 5 of us. There was.
That's what they call them.
You got Chat GBT.
Small units here.
A small unit, but very girthy.
Okay.
The chode. The chode has arrived. Sorry, Abel. This right here, this room, you see, this is not a studio. This is a COVID party club.
It was a replacement.
It was, yeah. This
Where
is
we
where
couldn't
we
go.
gathered to hang out during COVID because everything was closed. And I was able to stand up while I drank, which was a crazy thing for restaurants and bars to say. Well, it wasn't, the employees. It was, we didn't, nobody knew what was happening, but I do remember that they would tell me, do not stand up. And I'm like, does COVID only?
Well, no, because at first they were like, oh, because it's the air, it's blowing it from this person to this person. Like they had all these crazy theories,
Right.
Because they just didn't know what it was. So
I'm 5'10". What's standing up going to do?
well, I know we're about six years too late to have this argument, but
I agree. Yeah.
I will. Can't believe we're having this argument.
That's true. Right. That's like,
It's okay, Joe. It's okay.
right. Yeah.
This is exactly how everything shifts.
So Y2K, man. Look, I don't know. I don't think computers are just gonna like start over. You
but
know,
everybody
like
was scared.
what? I don't know.
You're
But
telling me-
but I did buy 20 cases of water.
Here it is. I've almost been arrested 3 times. If you want
Mhm.
me to tell you something that'll shock you, I've almost been arrested 3 times.
No.
First one is, so this is my cane.
Uh-huh.
I had dropped the girl off. We had gone on a date, and I got this, and I folded it up, and I threw it in the back of my friend's truck, and I jumped in. And then all of a sudden, a unit rolls up. The guy jumps out, doesn't say freeze, police, or anything like that. Tackles me to the ground, rolls me over, picks me up, pushes me up against the vehicle, puts the cuffs on me. And after he's done putting the cuffs on me, so I'm smart enough not to go into a gunfight without a gun. Like I knew, as a police officer at one point, and I'm like, I'm not going to fight it because I'm disarmed. I'm just a guy who's just went on a date. And then he starts patting me down and everything. And he finishes patting me down. And then I was like, sir, I don't want to be disrespectful. I was like, can you tell me what I'm being arrested for? And he says, well, it looks a little suspicious that you're running out of the house with that bolt cutter.
Mm.
And I said,
Wow.
do me a favor. I was like, can you examine those bolt cutters? So all of a sudden he does this thing where he like lifts it up and it turns into a cane.
Yeah.
And now he's thinking, oh my God, I am going to get turned into,
I'm arresting Daredevil.
Right.
yeah. And
He's like,
He
fuck, I'm blind.
he wiped my shirt. He cleaned my shoes.
Right. Yeah.
Dusted off my pad.
Yeah. He's like, I'm yeah.
he's
That's a
thinking-
scary moment.
Yeah. He's thinking I'm going to call internal affairs and
Right.
that's it. But I was like, I understood. I was in a bad neighborhood. It was dark and he was riding solo. He was the only, and so I was like, no, I was like, just, I get it. Like, he was afraid. I
Right.
was like, and we talk about fear being
Absolutely,
a tool.
yeah.
The second time I had this thing folded up in my back pocket. I'm on the dance floor. And sure enough, security comes, they grab me by the arm and they drag me into an alley. And I'm like, I'm going to get beat. And I was like, I'm really sorry, guys, but whatever I did. I was like, there's 2 of you guys and you're about to,
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
both of you all are way bigger than me. And they said, you can't be in the club with nunchucks.
Oh shit.
Pinche Michelangelo.
So I was like, examine those nunchucks. They unfolded them. Free drinks the whole night. Free drinks
Oh,
the
hell yeah.
entire night. Because they
Yeah.
were like, oh my God, we just, yeah. So, yeah, sometimes things aren't as simple as you think they would be.
So that was 2. What's the third?
The third one, we were coming back from Into the Mountain Gods. We had lost at Blackjack. We're coming in. We're back. We're all sad. We're my cousin's truck, and he had paper plates. And so we get pulled over, and they're like, "We think this vehicle's stolen." And he says, "No, my dad owns the car dealership in California." Right. That's the story that they're going to believe. So they couldn't prove that vehicle was not stolen, but they couldn't prove that it was stolen. So they held us in the holding tank until the guy's shift finished, and he's just like, "Well, you're going to have to sign off that you promised to come back to Alamogordo and show up for a court date." So we did that, but we sat in the holding cell for about 4 hours. until they finally said, well, we got to let you go because this guy's got to go home and we don't have a judge that's on duty. So they let us go. We promised to come back. We came back and proved that that vehicle was from his dad's car lot, but they thought that we stole the truck.
Bunch of assumptions right there. Can't do that now. Can't just assume.
You just
Maybe you shouldn't carry that cane, bro.
Just
and that's what we should all learn from this. Maybe you shouldn't carry the cane, but yeah.
I don't know. When you pulled it out right now, I felt a little. I was like, "Oh shit!" Like,
He's gonna beat me.
is this conversation getting too heated? He's gonna fuck me up with that. It's a girthy end. Look, you got a big head.
Joe,
Mike,
Joe has this,
that's fucking huge.
Joe's got this uncomfortable
why.
fixation that's making me nervous.
Joe heard none of your stories. He just kept looking at your cane.
Yeah, I was like,
You
damn,
think
that's a
that's
girthy
girthy?
cane.
Wow.
Mike, is there? Oh shit! You think radio is a dying industry, or do you think people underestimate the amount of listeners out there?
I think radio's an evolving industry. I was like, it has to survive because I've been at Power 102 when we had our first round of layoffs and the second round and the third round, and it's tough watching your friends get, because companies have that policy of, if they let someone go, they have to escort them out the front door, and when you see your friends get walked out the front door, that's really tough.
Yeah,
I was like, but radio's gotten smaller because you don't have to push that button and the computer will do it for you. But the other part is, like, there's voice tracking. Like, if they say, hey Mike, I want you to do a show in Dallas and in Houston and in Phoenix, like, you have the ability to, once you finish your shift, you just log into those systems and then you say, hey, welcome Phoenix, we're on the air, whatever, click, and you're on the air in Phoenix. And then you do the same thing for Dallas and do the same thing for Houston. And now I just took 3 jobs away from people that could be in radio, and that happens all the time. So it's really tough because it's gotten a lot smaller. Because before, and showing my age, when I was in high school, if I wanted to hear the new song by Madonna or whatever, if I couldn't stream it, and if I didn't own the record or the CD or whatever, you had to listen to the radio. People don't have to listen to the radio to hear that new song anymore.
right.
So
Yeah, you had to sit there and record. I remember recording the little cassettes.
Yeah,
right.
I would be like pause and then
yeah. Your song would come out only like a minute and a half long because you
wanted to get it at the beginning and you're like, fuck,
and then you're like, and then you would have to record after they stopped talking, which was right when the lyrics started.
Yeah,
and then I'm sure they would do that purposely, right? So
well, yeah, it was your chance to talk when it was an instrumental, and that was the thing you hoped, like, please DJ, don't talk over the beginning of the song because you're gonna screw up my recording, and we did it.
Yeah.
So radio's changed. I was like, but the thing is, like what you guys are doing here, like, before, people didn't know what the DJs look like. You didn't have social media. So now you go on, you do a radio show, and then you've got to go on social media, and here's a picture of us doing this in the studio, and here's a video of us. Like, we didn't have to do any of that before. Like, I would show up for work, and I would show up in my slippers. I had these penguin slippers, and I'd always wear these penguin slippers to do the overnight, and all of a sudden I can't show up in my slippers because I'd never know when we're going to go on the air and do a video, or we're going to do a commercial or whatever.
So do you ever get people, like, when you do remotes, they're like, oh, I didn't picture you to be like...
Oh, yeah. No, I've gotten every version of that. I thought you were taller. I thought you were shorter. I thought you were African.
Joe gets that all the time. I thought you were taller.
Yeah.
Even ChatGPT.
I saw that video.
Because of ChatGPT, you look taller.
But yeah, so it's evolved. Like, I was like, it's a blessing to still be in radio. For me, it's a blessing because I know so many great DJs that are no longer DJs.
Yeah.
So it's a blessing. I was like, the world has changed, and we've had to evolve with how everything changed.
Does it annoy you when you hear, like, podcasts with, like, a couple of nobodies?
No.
Who are trying things and they have no experience. They didn't go to college.
No, I was like,
there's like two drunk buffoons trying to start a podcast.
But you don't have to go to college for this, and you don't. I was like,
one of them, like, not super tall.
Yeah, no, I know
one super handsome,
right.
But I was like, the thing is, all you have to do is have a passion for it. I was like, what you guys don't know out there is that, like, Joe goes home and goes over these videos over and over and over, and he learns how to edit, and he's trying to learn how to adjust audio and video and lighting and everything else. And that's all you need is a passion to do it. I was like, that's where I started. I was like, I was a little kid when I was doing it. I was like, the reason why I got into this is like one Christmas.
Kind of late, huh?
Yeah, I was like,
You're a late bloomer, Joe.
So one Christmas, I remember I asked my parents for a turntable so I could play my records, and my parents bought my sister a turntable, and they bought me this crappy recorder, and it was like the recorders they didn't have a radio or anything. It just played cassettes and recorded on cassettes, and it had this little microphone, and that was the greatest gift that they ever gave me, because I was like, well, I'm going to figure out, this was like my main Christmas gift. I got to figure out how to do something. So we started like watching Saturday Night Live, and then we were like, we would duplicate those skits and record them. And then all of a sudden we were like, okay, what we're going to do is I'm going to record some funny stuff. I'm going to say some funny stuff. And then I'm going to hand it to my cousin, and he's going to listen back to it, see if it's funny. Then he's going to record something, try to make, and before you know it, we were making shows for each other on this recorder. And that's what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
You just have way more technology now.
Thanks to you.
Well,
So you had so did you have the Home Alone talk walkie Mikey thing from Home Alone? Remember, he's had like a cassette thing that had a microphone on it.
Oh yeah. It was just a voice recorder. Yeah. And then we got the concierge from the hotel to
leave the change, you filthy
Yeah.
animal.
So, did you know that some people, when they think, they have an internal monologue? Some people don't. Did you know that? Kathy, can you bring that? I don't know if I'm saying it right. Can you bring up?
Some people think
Some
they have
some
an internal
people some
monologue.
people have like a thought in their head, like when they think they have, I guess their own voice is talking to themselves in their head, and some people don't. Some people use just thoughts, I guess. Can you look it up?
Well, why she does
I
that?
think it's called like an internal monologue phenomenon or something like that.
You want another shot?
Are we doing a shot?
No.
Shots to the DJs that made it happen.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers,
Mike. Thank you for being here.
Cheers. Wow, that was filled to the top.
That's a half.
Kathy's going to bring up what I was talking about. Yes. Yeah. So this phenomenon is known as the lack of internal monologue or inner speech. While many people narrate their lives or carry on conversations with themselves in their head, an estimated 30 to 50% of the population does not. Instead of thinking words, they think using abstract concepts, mental imagery, emotions, or spatial awareness. Which one are you, Mike?
No, I definitely have an internal monologue, because I will tell myself, like, I don't want to end up on social media doing this. So this
podcast?
No. Like, if I'm doing,
that's rude.
If I'm doing something that would look like, great example is people are terrified of being on FitFam for the wrong reason. So my internal monologue was like, dude, careful. This is how this could be seen on social media. And I'll be like, oh, you're right. So let's not do that. Let's not
that's how my mind works too. How about you, Abel?
Yeah.
Do you have like speech? Do you have what the fuck? Abel just has one little fucking like, dude.
I did.
Saw, dude. And he just has
dude.
You know, he just has one guy going like, now you see, huh?
See? You know, are you kidding me?
What about you, Kathy? You have an internal monologue?
Kathy, I think that you're Abel's internal monologue.
Absolutely, 100%.
Babe, what do I say?
I've been texting you this whole time. If you don't get it, I don't know what to tell you.
No, we're talking about the internal monologue.
Yeah, dude, during this podcast, I just keep hearing and I see Kathy telling Abel, like, look at your phone.
I know. I'm like, what?
I thought you were talking about me, Mike.
Oh no, that's your little fidget. No, show your fidget. Show your fidget.
Because I have a silent thing on my keyboard.
Does that help? What does that help with?
Nothing. I was in my pocket.
It's something you probably
Absolutely
need.
nothing.
Nothing at all.
I'm sure I need that.
Yeah,
with
you
my
do.
ADHD. Yeah, for sure. Mike, what are some misconceptions about you that people get wrong about you?
Yeah, there's different ones. I was like, one time I was a judge for a talent show, and there was a woman that she was talking about. She's like, you better be ready because there's this DJ from that radio station coming, and he's gonna be a judge. And I'm like, that radio station? She's like, yes, they're all gangbangers over there.
What? Oh, because it's Power 102. Because you guys play rap. Is that why?
Well, according to this woman, yeah, like she had that perception because there's always been a perception like people didn't like Elvis because he was too too exotic,
hip twisty.
Yeah, and then they didn't like jazz was the devil's music
right
at one point, and so there's always a generation.
Yeah.
Well, this lady was one of those that she believed that everybody that listened to rap or hip hop was a gangbanger. So she's telling me this.
Gangbangers or cops apparently are the same thing.
So yeah, so I tell her that I'm like, hey, I was like, really? I was like, he's a gangbanger, and she says, yeah. She's like, he works for whatever. And then so I just let her, sit there, whatever. And then they introduce us, and they introduce me, and all of a sudden she's like, clutch my pearls. She's like freaking out about it.
Oh no!
And then I turned to her and I was like, I have a wife, I have kids, I have an education. I was like, and guess what? I was like, I've never been in a gang. I was like, you got to check your perceptions because people have these things that they perceive that they're like, oh man. And you also thought that I was always at the club and
yep.
Yeah, and I've been DJing since I was 13. I was, in high school working at the nightclubs, working at the bars and everything. I got to see drunk people get stupid at an early age. So I was like, I never took up drinking because I was just like, that's not me. I was like, if I'm going to be successful at being a DJ, I can't be around alcohol and be getting all tore up.
That's why we made a good combo when we go out because they would be like, hey, Mike, you want to drink? No, I got it. He's a designated driver.
One time I was with Abel when I got kicked out of Smokies. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, I remember that for a shirt.
Because I was wearing the radio station jersey. We had just come from a concert, and we had a baseball jersey, and it had the name of the radio station on it. But there was a rule that there was no jerseys allowed, and so we went in, and they saw the jersey, and they're like, "You have to leave." And Abel and his crew started a whole thing. Hey, they're gonna throw Mike Dee out. Everybody started screaming. I'm like, whoa, no,
I'll just leave.
Yeah, I was like, I'll just leave. I was like, I don't want to. Yeah, so I'm not. Yeah, I'm pretty low key when it comes to
confrontation.
I was like,
not the fact that one time we almost got our ass beat by Fernando Vargas.
That's true. Okay, you got to tell that story because
the boxer.
Yeah, boxer.
Oh yeah, tell that story. What happened?
Well, did he fight or he was gonna fight?
I think he had fought.
He had already fought, huh?
Yeah.
Me and Mike, of course, at that time they did the power mixing nights, right? The DJs would go to different clubs,
right?
And they would mix live on the radio. And Mike's like, "Hey, we got to go to this event. I think Fernando Vargas is gonna be there, whatever." So I'm like, "All right, cool." So we go, and at that time, one of our friends. My ex-wife was with us, and we go to the it was like a VIP section, right?
Yeah.
And Fernando Vargas was there, and he's already he's already having a good time, bro. Really good time. And we're kind of sitting, I don't know, maybe 4 feet away or whatever. And he's cool. He's saying what's up and everything and stuff. And he's young and handsome, and he's a fighter and stuff. So he has 2 girls. Right, he has 2 girls on him, right?
Yeah, because he's got.
I'm just painting a picture here for Mike. All right.
Yeah, no,
yeah.
No homo.
So this guy,
handsome.
So this guy obviously fucks, dude.
Obviously, yeah.
So Abel tells me he's got 2 of the hottest girls in the club all over him.
And then my significant other at the time was all pissed off about it. She's like, "Hey, who's that guy?" And I go, "Oh, that's Fernando Vargas. He's a fighter or whatever." Well, why is he over there with 2 girls? I'm like, who cares? Well, I'm gonna go tell something. You better not fucking say anything because I ain't about to get my ass whooped.
So why does she care?
I don't know.
She had a couple of drinks, and the thing is, she wasn't saying at like normal people level. She was talking like drunk level. Like, she's like,
no!
I'm gonna go tell him, and I'm like, Abel, you
Get your
better.
girl.
Abel,
Oh,
Abel, is she walking over there? I can't tell.
I'm all, we about to get knocked out. So,
Fuck, dude.
so I was like, so we left the VIP because I knew we got beat up right then and there.
Oh yeah, we have.
Damn.
That's why I tell them. I think all the times you went to the club, you dragged my ass with you because there's other times when we would go to like what was the club that was the 2-story one?
What?
The Wet. Remember we went there, and then you ended up meeting your buddy from the Red Parrot.
Oh, the owner of the Red Parrot. Yeah, and it was cool. Like it was a party, and everybody's just like, oh man, like it's all scandalous. So like, no, I was like, these are like business associates, and these are people that we know, and things would always get interesting. But I was like, or at that point, I was like, I'm too grown and too married to like live this lifestyle. So
Yeah.
I was just like, no, I was like, we're just gonna, call it a night. So we would just, Abel and I would party just long enough to see when it started to like get out of control, and then we was like, okay, Abel, we're taking off.
Yeah, we're out. Let's go.
Then we out.
What's up with your
What's up
ball?
with your ball? The yellow one right here on the.
I have Blink 182 here.
And they're all naked.
They're all naked. And then I brought this ball.
Yeah, what's up with that?
So I worked the banana ball this weekend. Did you hear about that, Mike? The banana ball?
Yes, I heard about your banana ball. seem very proud of your banana ball. Tell us.
So this past
Tell the
weekend,
others.
the banana ball came to town, and hold on.
He wants to show you his ball.
He's
So
overwhelmed
this
by the
has
ball.
become show and tell.
See, how do you know he wants to
So-
give it to you?
Why are you
I
holding
got
his,
so intrigued. I'm
why are
like,
you holding his hand like that?
Hey, what is that?
That's protection.
From my thumb? No, so I worked the which is the shirt. There was the Texas tailgaters.
That drink.
There was a lot of alcohol in that drink. So this past weekend, the Texas tailgaters and the firefighters played against each other for the banana ball at the Southwest Stadium, and most of the team signed my ball. And then number one, Sunshine, he actually dedicated this ball to my daughter.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so he put her name and then he signed it. Number one, he actually put a sun. You drew a sun on it, and then it says "Your dad rocks."
Oh, that's cool.
That's
And then the
pretty
rest of the team signed it. Dude, I thought it was cool.
That is cool.
I'll tell you what. I'm touched by that. Do me a favor, Kathy. Do you have a Sharpie? I'm gonna sign one of Joe's balls.
cool. The left or
Not this baseball.
No, I didn't say it was that one.
Hey, that's a good idea. We should get like a board or something to have everybody that comes on sign.
No, there you go.
That is a good
Oh,
idea,
that is a good
actually.
idea. Damn, did Kathy text you that?
I sure did.
No, Mike just
I sure did.
my inner what? What are you guys saying? My inner
His inner Abelito said,
Yeah.
"Hey,
hey, say this now.
You see?
You see?
Mike, before we get too ahead of ourselves, has been a reoccurring question here on this show. Do you have any suggestions on our next guest? You know our vibe. You know what we're about. You know the show. We interview local favorites, and we want to find out who they are outside of work. Continue, give us any suggestions, or give a shout out to somebody.
Patty Diaz. I can get
Patty
hold
would
of
be
her.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, she's fun. I was like, you. So I helped you guys put this together, but you had Buzz on before me. That's okay.
Wow, that was Joe's idea.
That was 100%
Shots
my
fired.
idea.
But
And now we can't even air it.
so
Nobody.
So actually, we're gonna have you before Buzz.
So okay. But no, I think Patty would be a fun interview. And the fun part is because she's a great interviewer, is trying to keep her on the side of being the guest and you guys being the interviewers.
Right. Instead of
That's the
her
challenge.
controlling
Yeah.
the
Yeah, because it's all those years of interviewing people. It's really easy for her to like switch into that mode. So yeah, I think it'll be a good interview.
That's a good one. Patty, if you're listening, or Patty, we would love to have you on, Patty.
Thank you for all your help and everything.
No, as long as you guys keep having fun, that's it. I was like, and that question that you said, like, how do you feel about people that aren't in the industry doing podcasts? If it's fun, do it. That's it. Keep having fun. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you. We're trying to make this fun and appreciate you all your help. Thanks a lot, Mike. We're gonna put the links for the Mike's Big Adventure and then your Instagram and your Facebook. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you guys for being here. I'm Joe.
And I'm Abel.
And this is Clocked Out with Joe and Abel.
Peace.